So we're going to start by learning about child abuse and what the community's responsibility is in reporting.
Child abuse is the treatment by anyone responsible for that child's care, however brief. Could be just a non-paid babysitter all the way up to a parent, a guardian. It could be a teacher, a coach, anybody who has interaction with a child and is responsible for that child at any point during that child's life causes injury to that child. And not only physical injury, but emotional injury, psychological injury, and injury through neglect. In other words, not giving that child what's necessary, food, clothing, shelter, some emotional care that's needed. All these can result in an injury to a child and prevent that child from growing up in today's society with some sort of a normal foundation.
Child abuse impacts public health by families or individuals that have felt that there's no other resources or strategies to utilize with their children or family members, which then with that could increase or does increase the level of crime, the difficulties with child development, difficulties with growth and development for kids and educational development.
The types of child abuse that are defined in the law are, number one, physical abuse, of course, that's fairly obvious. After that, there's an emotional type of abuse, calling injury or neglect. There is sexual abuse of children. Those are the types of child abuse, I guess, that fall within the broad definition that the statute is trying to direct actions toward. A mandated reporter is any person who is responsible for the child's care, however brief. They may be in a position of authority over the child, or they may be like a coach, a babysitter. The statutory definition talks about anybody in child care, law enforcement, probation services, education, in the healing arts is the way the statute phrases it. Anybody who has coming in contact with that child and who notices the abuse that is going on is required by law to make the report to the authorities. Now, stepping aside and looking at it a little broader, the idea behind mandated reporting is to have those people who are dealing with the children become the eyes and ears of the authorities. They are the people who are dealing with the child, seeing that child in that situation and realizing something is just not right in that particular child. And the law says that those people that are dealing with them and realize the person who is doing the abuse is somebody the child might not tell on and most likely will not tell on. So we are asking that people who are dealing with the children be the voice of that child and speaking up on that child's behalf by reporting the abuse to the authorities.
As far as reporting to child protection, the approaches now with that is really to access community resources, to maintain families, keep them together if at all possible, through resources and visiting and services with the entire family in order to assist them in becoming more self-sufficient and utilizing positive strategies with their children.
The law does provide immunity for someone who makes a child abuse report in good faith. Anyone can make a child abuse report as long as it's done in good faith. And what do I mean by good faith? Well, if you've got the interest of the child at heart and you make that report, that is considered good faith. You are immune, you cannot be sued for the report that you made, you cannot be prosecuted. Only if you are making the report for another reason. For example, you've had a dispute with that particular person you're reporting on and you want to get back at them, pretty obvious. That's not good faith. But if you're doing it on behalf of the child, then you will be protected under the law. I think a very good question for people who are wanting to report is their concern is, will I split up a family? The focus of the law today is to not split up families. The focus of the law is to ultimately reunite children with their families, but to do it in a situation where the children will thrive. Occasionally, children may have to be pulled out of a home. But when they are pulled out of the home, social services is working actively with that family and with that child to work on those problems that have caused the initial situation so that those problems can be remedied and that the families can be reunited. The state doesn't want to raise children. That's the job of the parents. The state steps in when it's necessary to take those children out of a situation and get the guidance, the counseling that those families need, and then reunite the families.